Hey everybody, and thanks for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I'm going to take the wire off of this Japanese green mound juniper. And the reason I'm doing that is just to contrast the amount of time it took for some of the wire to cut into the bark. And I have to admit, there is some wire that has cut into the bark in places on this tree. But this tree was wired months ago versus the last video I did where the Brazilian rain tree was wired only a month and it was already cutting into the bark. When I unwire this, I may get some flopping, so that some of the branches may not retain, but I need to take some of them off because they are cutting into the bark. So right here is the perfect example right there. This wire has cut into the bark and a little bit right there. And that's in the back of the tree, so you'll probably never see it. So I'm going to take all the wire off though. And then we can go from there. So I usually unwrap my wire because I like to save it and reuse it. And so that's what I'm going to do. Just going to unwrap the wire. And at this point, I'm not going to worry about whether it has held in place. And typically, I wire the thickest wire on the thickest branches first, and then go smaller and smaller and smaller. So I am going to reverse that in taking the wire off. So this looks like the next one I'm going to take off. And it's almost impossible to do, but when you're unraveling the wire, you want to try to straighten it out as you're unwiring, so it doesn't cause more damage, let's put it that way. And this wire here has been used just like on the golden rain tree to do two different branches. And anchored in the middle. Oh yeah, boy, that wire scars. But it took months for this to happen. Honestly, I will show you that video right here. And I'm beginning this video. I probably should have just gone to check that video to see when I did it. But you can see nice fresh wire scars. Oh well. So that looks like about it for this side. So let's go to the back. You may be looking at some of this wire and saying, why is it so silver? I just thought it was supposed to be copper. Well, this is copper coated aluminum, and they coat it with the copper coloring just to make it less gaudy. And this is just really old wire that I've used over and over and over. It's pretty much indestructible, so the copper coating has just wore off. Alright, so there's the back branch, unwired. Then we have another branch here. See, sometimes I use wire that's way too long, so I just sort of bend it around. And since I'm just a hobbyist and I'm by myself in my yard, I don't know why I do that. I think I bent it around just so that when you see it in the video, you don't see that wire just sticking way out. But you know, this tree is a long way from being displayed where it's all tricked out and everything is in perfect position. What have we got here? Oh, there we go. Here, there's another one. And then, we've got the wire and it's still got a lot of curve to it. So I just spend some time after I've done unwiring the tree to just straighten that wire out. It's not that difficult to do. A little time consuming, but not that difficult. And just continue on. And just as when you are wiring, when you're unwiring, you want to make sure that you're not damaging little branches, because those little branches could be important for the design. There's another little bit of cutting into the bark. Not bad though, not too bad. And this is the second time this tree has been wired. And the last time I took the wire off so soon that it just fell over. It just flopped right back over. Because remember, the scientific name is Procumbens, which is what most of the people in the bonsai community call it. And that literally means growing horizontal. But now it's holding its shape pretty well. It's leaning a little too far forward. It needs to be up like that. But subsequent wirings will solve that. I'm a huge proponent of trying to avoid wire scars as much as I can, and I have no problem with wiring a tree multiple times in order to get the branches to stay into the place that I want. I have no problem with that at all. And honestly, I've wired Brazilian rain trees, but I never saw that tree that I did in my last video where it cut into the bark so quickly. That was crazy. This is another one that's been used to wire two separate branches. So now I'm going to go over here and begin unraveling it from this end. Can't see what I'm doing. The branch above it is just hiding everything. But we'll get it done. Right, there we go. Got something holding it up. Ah, that little branch there. And I certainly didn't wire this thing as fully as I could have, where you trick it all out. And that would be, I would do that if I was going to display this tree in a few months. Wire everything into place. And actually in most bonsai exhibits, most bonsai shows, it's perfectly acceptable to have wire on trees as long as the wire is done aesthetically, where it isn't just looks ugly. As long as the wiring is within the bounds of the design of the tree, you can show trees with wire on them. Bonsai for me is much more personal, where I'm not really that much of a show-off. So I rarely show my trees anywhere. And that's fine. I know some people that are just heavily into it. They're always showing trees at whatever conventions or Bonsai shows they can, and hey, that's good, that's cool. I'm just, guess I'm a little bit more private. And I do believe that this is the last piece. You got to kind of thread it through the branches, which it was thread through those same branches to apply. So you're just sort of unthreading it. And a lot of people just take wire cutters and just cut it off into like 1-inch pieces. But that means it's just garbage. And I guess I'm just too frugal. So that's the bottom line. Just too frugal. And I anchored that into the soil. So that should do it. Okay. Let's check it out. It's held pretty well. Probably needs to be more like that. But in time, so the vast majority of the wiring did not create scars. By far the two worst ones are the ones I've already showed you. But that's in the back branch of this tree right here, so you'll never see it. And this tree is how would I call it? Rough. In the rough. So you know, there's just so much that could be done to this thing. And sometimes in juniper competitions you have like 2 hours and you need to wire every single little tiny branch. But since I'm not in competition, it's just my own deal. So there you go. And there's always a future. You're always looking to the future of a tree. And sometimes you'll see people make instant bonsai from a juniper, and hey, that's fantastic. I normally don't do that. So that's it for today. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see the next time I work on this guy. And leave a comment if you'd like. I'm really too far south to grow a lot of junipers. So this batch of junipers that I have right now is about the healthiest that I've ever had. So, and I've tried to take a little bit more care of keeping them very well watered, because I think that's been my problem in the past, is they are zero drought tolerance, and if they dry out even once completely, they're gone. So I'm just proud of the fact they're even still alive in zone 10 in the US. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.